All right, guys, so we've got some news regarding stadiums. The first one, the 76ers 2031 stadium already facing pushback due to its location. Chinatown business owners, residents, and visitors voice opposition to project via a survey. Developers are aiming to have the $1.3 billion privately financed arena open in 2031. And this is the 76er Place at Market East project that the 76ers did propose last year, I think, and you can see the renderings of it. It is super weird to have a stadium that's proposed in 2031 this early. You normally never see that. I mean, you'll get like rough estimates like with the Washington Commanders and stuff like that, but they're actually proposing this and you can see it. What do you guys think that is on the roof? Is that some type of grass or something? I mean, it's interesting for sure, but I will read kind of a recent thing. They're talking about pretty much everyone in Philadelphia's Chinatown hates the idea of having a 76ers arena built on their doorstep. A 76ers development spokesperson replied that it was disappointing to see such local opposition when the team is proposing one of the largest community benefits agreements in the history of our city and country, which, yep, that's totally how community benefits agreements are supposed to work, with the developer disparaging community members if they don't want to accept your first proposal. So, wow, we've got some drama here. Apparently there is an issue with that. So I think they've got time. They do have time to resolve it, possibly move it. This is just one of the many big hurdles when it comes to stadiums. Where do you put the things? And apparently it would be located right within Chinatown, which obviously would disrupt that whole segment of people. And then we do have another stadium in college basketball and college hockey that is being planned. St. Thomas is planning a new 5,000 seat college basketball / hockey stadium. They want to break ground in 2024 and have it opened by 2025. Another very nice, these smaller schools getting new arenas. I like the look of it. I like the purple vibe. The outside of it, very nice architecture for sure. And of course, the one that I'm really intrigued with is Longwood. You guys seen the current idea around Longwood University and what they're building there? Looks like some type of cathedral, European style architecture. When you look at the renovations on that, I'll throw them up here right now. And that Longwood Stadium or Longwood Arena, whatever it is, that one is going to be real. I would love to see Longwood basketball become a powerhouse. Could you imagine that in that arena? That would be something. And then this is interesting. So this just came out today, and apparently SoFi Stadium might not be one of the hosts for the 2026 World Cup because the field is too narrow. Sources close to the 2026 committee say in order to comply with FIFA's regulations, the width of the field would have to be increased possibly by as much as 63 feet, which would mean removing some of the seats close to the pitch and raising the playing surface. FIFA normally expects a stadium could hold at least 80,000 people for the final, but losing seats would reduce the capacity of SoFi Stadium to below 70,000, which may prove a step too far. Yeah, there's no way. There's going to have to be some type of exemption, you would think. I mean, this stadium, the amount of money that went into it, $5 billion, the idea that it wouldn't host the World Cup is pretty crazy. So they were talking about in the article maybe it getting an exemption, maybe it doing something, but according to the current regulations, it would not be eligible because it is too narrow. It says if FIFA isn't interested in providing the LA Stadium with a waiver, next in line to host the World Cup final appears to be MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, which, if you've ever been to an event there in the summer, or really any event, it seems like an extremely bad idea. Yeah, MetLife is just, it's just a very bland stadium. And you want to talk about a massive downgrade. This would look to be an embarrassment for FIFA, as well as they have failed to notice these problems with the host stadium when selecting the site for the World Cup. But then if FIFA wasn't embarrassed by the last World Cup, it's probably never going to be. Well, the last World Cup was crazy. I mean, they built 8 stadiums, mega stadiums in Qatar. Imagine what's going to happen to those stadiums in Qatar. Apparently, one of them was built out of shipping containers. I'm not even kidding you. I'll find the photos of it. One of the stadiums in Qatar was legitimately built out of shipping containers because, you know, Qatar does not need 8 mega stadiums. Like, the whole idea of, like, how does Qatar, I don't want to go on a rant about this, but it just doesn't make any sense. Obviously, it's a bad idea. It's not going to end well. You don't need 8 mega stadiums in Qatar. You're not going to use them. Outside of that, this is the Olympics going to Sochi 2.0 or wherever they go, and the place gets abandoned because they're building all these, you know, mega places, mega events, you know, Olympic-sized swimming pool, and then they just don't need it. This is exactly, and that's what they're trying to avoid with the Olympics. Isn't the Olympics going to LA? Oh my God. I was just thinking about that. Like, I couldn't imagine living in LA as it is, but like, you throw the Olympics on top of that, dude, I would go to Nome, Alaska. I'd be in Nome, Alaska, living with a, with a tribe out there in negative 40-degree weather before think about this. People are going to actually be in LA. The Olympics comes. GG. Yeah, enjoy that. Yeah, dude, the traffic. Oh my God. Come on. Your day is going to be in traffic. I hope people get paid when they're in traffic. Like, you're going to spend 5 hours a day in traffic for a month because the Olympics is happening. On top of that, you already have LA traffic as it is. Guys, what happens to the Olympics exactly? That's my question, because I don't know, like, LA hosting them, you know, like all these bigger cities hosting them. It's almost like you have to have the bigger cities host the Olympics. Otherwise, you're going to run into a situation like the World Cup where a small country that doesn't need it has 8 mega stadiums and they all go abandoned. But then I think like a major city hosting the Olympics takes away some of the charm of the Olympics, if that makes sense. Like, I like when smaller places, especially the Winter Olympics, what was it in Beijing recently? Why are they still going to Beijing? They're open communists. That's I mean, whatever, but that's just my rant about the Olympics. Either way, getting back to the whole World Cup thing, yeah, there's no way. So you're going from SoFi Stadium, which cost $5 billion to build. It was built for events like this. I call it the Costco of the NFL. It's already hosted a Super Bowl. I'm sure they're going to have it host another one before 2030. I mean, that thing's going to be hosting 3 Super Bowls in the span of 2 decades. I can promise you that. If it costs $5 billion, yeah. And apparently, FIFA did not do their due diligence when finding host stadiums because it is not in line with regulations. I would imagine this is something to where there's going to be some exemption, but SoFi is probably going to have to make minor tweaks to the overall seating. It's not going to affect them long-term or anything, but there's no way that they scrap it unless it's like catastrophic. Unless FIFA's like, yeah, you got to remove the entire bottom bowl, then I could see them being like, that's not happening, man. That's not. But if it's just like a few rows or something, I'm guessing they could do it. We'll have to see. I wonder when they get a Final Four at that SoFi Stadium, but probably very soon. I mean, that thing's hosting everything. Either way, guys, the overall gist of it, 76ers struggling with the current 76er place at Marcus East due to the location. We'll see what happens with that. They do need a new arena, by the way. Wells Fargo is heavily dated. There's a lot of NBA teams that need a new arena. And then we do have the St. Thomas college basketball team getting a new arena there opening in 2025. They're hopeful. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.